Hi folks, Henry here with something a bit more experimental. In front of me I have something you might recognize from my previous video on how to put my crew figures into 6mm vehicles. Uh, a bit of feedback I had was that there might be some people who want their crew figures to be removable on the tabletop, and for some vehicles this is easier than others. With this 251 half track, it's a bit of a ball ache because, as you can see, it's got angled sides that taper in toward the top. So I was thinking, how can I fix things up so that you could put the crew in and out this as a sort of insert? And I have an idea. Haven't done any physical test prints, and this isn't something I'll commit to doing for vehicles myself. Instead, I'm going to try teach you how to do it, give you some food for thought. But it might be possible to make this into a block that could be inserted through the opening up top, and I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, we're going to click this half track. We're going to delete it. We're going to delete the two people in the front seats. They would have to be printed with the half track. There's no way to make them removable. And what we've got left with here is our block of crew, and we will hit export and export to 3D file and save this somewhere. I've already saved it, so I'm not going to show that, but export just your crew figures that you've positioned sitting in your vehicle in question that you're having trouble with. Here we've got a brand new Blender file, so I'm going to show you how to set this up to be all the correct scale and everything. I'm going to press A and X to delete everything in the Blender file. On this tab down here, the one that looks like a cone and a sphere, click Units, type in on unit scale 0.001 and length to millimeters. This is how you scale everything to display correctly here. We're going to go import STL, and I need to find where I saved this. It should be here. This is what I made earlier, but here is the passenger block as it looked to us in Lychee Slicer. As you can see, my Blender is rendering this quite uglily, so if you right click and click Shade Auto Smooth, it just looks like it should. I'm going to click the modeling tab up here. Press the tab key to exit model mode. I just like the modeling tab because it's got less of a HUD to it. Next up, we're going to want the half track, because we're going to use the half track to make a crop. Here's the half track. It's come in rotated wrong, so I'm going to press R for rotate, X, hold the control key and move my mouse. The reason I'm holding control is because that locks us to 5-degree rotations. R, Z to rotate on the Z axis, again holding the control key. And as you can see here under rotation, we've got 90, 90. We're then going to hit Object, Set Origin, Origin to Center Mass Surface. This is so that when that this orange dot now appears in the middle of the model, which means when I press Alt plus G, it will center perfectly. This only works with models that are symmetrical, which this one appears to be, so that should be fine. On scale, on the right here, we're going to type 0.485 to match these figures. Put that into all of the scale inputs there. And now, right-click, Shade Auto Smooth. Using the G key and my different Z, X, Y to go onto different axes of movement, I'm going to just move this so it lines up with the peg on the bottom of the MG. That's how I know I've got it in the right place. And then move it until we have the MG just resting there. Okay, so this is now correctly positioned. How are we going to make our crop? I'm going to select the half track, press the tab key to go into edit mode, and I'm going to click on one of the vertices on the top, and holding the control key, left click another vertex, it tries to find a path, and we're going to do this until we've got the entire opening selected, which we have now. Next, I'm going to press Shift plus D for duplicate, and then the Z key to move it on the X-axis. I'm going to right-click, click Separate Selection. I can hide this now. And now when I select this, if I press E for Extend, then S, I can make it into a big object. Press the A key to select all, E for extrude again, and Z to go on the Z axis. And now I'll be able to make this into an object to use a Boolean crop on these guys so that anything intersecting this solid object gets cut off. Next crop we're going to want is for the floor, so I'm just going to hide the passenger block over here, H. If you lose something you've hidden, you can hold the Alt key and press H to unhide all objects, but I'm just using the right here, this is the eyeball up here. So we've got the half track back. Next we're going to make Shift plus A for add mesh plane. We're going to make a plane, we're going to scale it in a bit. And we want this plane to match the seats. Let's set it up by pressing tab to go into edit mode on the plane. Click this blue wrench here, get this tab open. Add mirror. It's on the x-axis by default. Click clipping and select these two vertices. Move them in the middle, G plus the X key for the x-axis. They'll meet here. And this is just so that anything I do on this side gets mirrored on the other side. We're going to press, hold the Z key, go to wireframe so I get this X-ray view. Control R to do a loop cut. We're going to move this loop cut to the just under the edge of the bench, like there. Doesn't need to be quite exact, but actually we want to just be on the bench. Yeah. Doesn't need to be quite exact, but close enough. And next we're going to select the half track, press tab to go to edit, click this face up here, click the floor, and on the right here I get like the coordinates properties of what I've selected. I'm going to click global because we want the global coordinates. On the Z axis I'm going to copy this, press tab again, go back to my plane, tab, press the E key to extrude. And then with this face highlighted, go on Z. It's now matching the floor. Going to do what I did before, but this time for the top of the seat. So selecting the half track, pressing tab, selecting a face on top of the seat, selecting just this face, because if I hide this, you'll see the loop cut means we have two faces on the top of this. So selecting just this face, E key, and bring it in on the coordinates like that. And then we have our two crops. Oh, no, that's not the crop. This is the other crop. Our two crops together, which make the approximate shape of the half track. Right, now, you'll have to bear with me for this bit because it might get a bit buggy looking. But we will fix it all, I promise. Make sure we got our crops. We're going to select our crew figures. Click Add Modifier, again on this blue wrench tab. Type Boolean. Difference, fast, click this pipette and click on the first crop. Add modifier, Boolean, we need a second one. Exactly the same as the first. And click on the floor crop. The figures will look quite bugged, but bear with me. Just hiding these now so we can see. So as you can see, it's bugged. The reason why this guy's gone hollow is basically because these guys have separate meshes, and because the meshes are colliding, Blender is having trouble calculating everything. So we're going to have to separate these guys into individual models. So we click, press tab, click into empty space just to make sure nothing is selected, mouse over on the figures, and with your mouse over them, press the L key to select all linked vertices, right click, separate, selection. I'm going to leave edit mode now because this guy's MG is missing, and that's because of our first crop. If I click the X where the pipette was before, deselects that crop. So this guy is now done, he's ready. Next up, tab key again to edit, click L, separate, selection. Click L, separate, selection. Click L, separate, selection. Click L, separate, selection. Click L, separate selection. Click L, separate selection. Now when I leave edit mode, tab key, click off. It's all perfect, yes. And this is now ready to go. So click this guy, press A, File, Export, STL, Selection only, make sure this is ticked. Desktop, half-track passengers. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my desktop. Whew. Open it up in 3D Builder. And there they are. Make sure you've got millimeter clicked. Click the tick to import. And now just repair them. And oop. Now is the best time to find a problem. Sorry, that original plane we had needs to be extended outward. I'll show myself fixing that in just a sec. This is what I get for doing this off the cuff. But imagining this bit here isn't there, you would now have your block, which in theory, you can see the flat bits where it collides the hull. This could be lowered into and lifted out of the half track. I haven't test printed this. If I did print this, I would probably snip off this peg, because presumably these crew are such a snug fit in the compartment, it would precisely line him up anyway, and the peg might just be getting in the way. I think because we also didn't make the cropped area slightly smaller than the half track, this is like a one-to-one match. So any kind of deviations in printing or residue from curing or whatever might make this too snug a fit. So I would recommend filing down these guys' backs and maybe their butts too, just to make sure they fit, because they probably won't go in, they probably won't slide in because it'll be too close to a match. Anyway, this finished repairing, so I'd press Alt F4 or click this X up here, save, and that will save as a repaired STL. As for how to fix this, I should have noticed this before. That's the plane. Selecting my plane, press Tab, select these faces, G key and Y axis, that's this green axis down here. That's now fixed that. And then I would just file, export, STL. Alright. Anyway, I hope that is useful. Again, I'm not going to commit to altering blocks to fit every conceivable vehicle. I will include these figures though, since I've already made them. But I'm hoping this tutorial will give you the tools you need to make your own blocks. Most vehicles should be straightforward. If you've got a truck usually has flush sides. So for the truck, you would only need this bit, the plane part. We needed an extra crop for this just because the tapered sides of the half track. Anyway, thank you very much for watching if you got this far, and I hope you like the Kickstarter and enjoy these miniatures. Take care, everyone. Happy hunting.